Science brought us to space. And again, as I was saying
Totally.
earlier, I used to be like, well, at least space is real. And I
I
love.
call me crazy, but I still believe space is real.
I'm CJ. And I'm Lou. Grab your tinfoil hat and tune into Speculating Wildly, your number one source for completely accurate, opinion-based news.
I almost said good morning. That lets you know sort of where
Good
my
morning.
brain is at.
It's morning because we're starting something new.
Well, exactly. And it's like when we're going to record, similar to like on days that I stream or on days I have absolutely anything to do in that day, I have to sort of be like idle until the thing happens. And that's when the day really begins. So to me, I'm like, my day is beginning at 3 in the afternoon.
I get it.
And that's just what's happening in my universe. So
Can I
that's
ask
literally,
a personal question?
please ask a personal question.
I'm sorry for cutting you off. For my bad personal question, do you think it's jarring to the viewer that I'm living in a purple room and you're in a normal room?
I think that it's a really good like glimpse into our psyche. It also kind of makes it look like you're at nighttime and I'm in the daytime.
Sort of fun. I just was going for, well, I hate to be a spoiler.
You
I
hate
was
to be
going
a
for moon
spoiler,
vibes.
but tell us.
I was going for moon vibes.
Moon vibes. Because today we came here to talk about the moon. Um I once said something that was so funny. And do you like it when I tell you old jokes that I've made? And I said something that was so funny that was like, your boyfriend doesn't believe in the moon landing? Honey, my boyfriend doesn't believe the moon exists. And that was true at the time.
I love that. I think it's
So,
funny and I think it's good and I want to put it in a sitcom.
yeah, exactly. I was like, we're not the same. I wasn't talking to anyone because famously, I don't speak to anyone outside of you.
But I love to hear it whenever you say it to me.
Thank you so much. Now, speaking of funny things that I've said in the past, I'm ready to say some in the future, and I'm ready to hear what you're about to say when I ask you these questions. Are you prepared?
Yeah, can I do a bit that I have planned though?
Always, always do a bit that you have planned. So, Lou's showing me a paper cut out of a flower.
Do you know who I am?
Katy Perry! Which is perfect because my first question I will ask you is what celebrities would you like to see sent into space?
Are they coming back?
Well, exactly. It's sort of hit or miss, right? I mean,
Well, that's an amazing question, and I don't want to start off going on the craziest thing that I found. Uh, okay, sorry.
I really threw you off there, didn't I?
Well, there's so many directions I could go
Yeah.
because there's celebrities that I was sent into space to never come back, but there's like celebrities that I think deserve to go to the moon because of their vibe.
Yes.
Um, but I'm sort of like I don't even who's a celebrity?
Um,
Chris Fleming can go to the moon.
and you keep saying that name. And
You don't know Chris Fleming? You're
it,
joking me.
is he the YouTuber with the dogs?
N-
No,
No.
that's a
Who's
different
that?
Chris. That's a Chris that existed in the time where Elijah and Christine were big on YouTube. And his
You're
name is.
speaking a different language toward me.
Yeah, I do love to sort of send you into space when I talk about Elijah and Christine, and you go like it's a world that you never lived in, and I'm
Well, something amazing about me and the name Elijah is that Elijah is only Andrew Rannells in Book of Mormon, and that's the only Elijah that exists.
sure. I love that it's not even the original Elijah, like that the
No, who's that?
in the Bible. There's an Elijah for sure.
No, I was kidding. I was kidding. Yeah, there's definitely an Elijah.
In the mix. Okay, I'm seeing who Chris Fleming is. Everyone else is seeing my dirty phone
This
as
is
I
Chris
show it.
Fleming.
Got it.
Yeah, wait, how do I make Chris Fleming not a? This is my angel, my biological mother, Chris
Oh,
Fleming.
I have to find the Chris I was talking about, but I don't know how to find him without
Please.
typing in Chris YouTuber Elijah, and Christine.
And Christine, like nailological.
No, which I was watching a YouTube video
Okay.
earlier, and she said Christine, and I was thinking my Christine, and then she was like nailological, and I was like, no, I'm talking about Merry Christmas, Happy Chrysler.
Christine Sidelko.
Thank you.
I love Christine Sidelko. I had a big crush on Christine Sidelko.
Well, she's so fun, and I really miss her. I think I've been speaking about her so frequently that she must be coming into the consciousness that I'm in. She must be re-entering the world in a way in which I will see her because I've been speaking of her so much.
I mean, she deserves to have all the privacy in the world, but many blessings if she ever comes back.
Yeah, it's like, you deserve to have all the privacy in the world, but also, like, tell me what you're up to.
Well, just DM me.
Well, and maybe...
It doesn't have to be for everyone. It can be for me.
Maybe
us.
she will. Because this podcast is a big hit. I'm never going to find that man, Chris. He was a man named Chris. He had 2 dogs. One of them was named Pancake. And he is who I'm thinking of when you say Chris Fleming. That's who I picture first. So
okay,
shout
that's beautiful.
out to him. Yeah. So I'd let him go to space, you know?
If he wants to. I think my thing is with good intention space travel, it's you know, they only go if they want to. It's Chris Fleming, it's Christine Sidelko. It's, I think, Jackson Galaxy because his last name is Galaxy.
Sure. Fun. I think Hank Green should get to go.
I actually think Hank Green needs to go.
Yeah.
There's actually no one I trust in this world more than Hank Green, which is also, he's sort of brand new to me.
Yeah.
But I can't stop watching Ask Hank Anything, and he's also, not to put all of the weight of the world on one man's shoulders, but the only thing giving me hope ever.
Wow.
But he's just really sweet. People come on his show and they ask like big heavy questions, and he's like, did I say this last pod?
I don't think so.
Or did I say this to my therapist? Same difference.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that is me, but
he's just always like, I've done enough research in the world on things, and I've had enough opportunities to get like firsthand research on things that I know that if there's something important going on in the world, people are working on it in a big way. Mm-hmm. And I always have hope for the future because I know that the big things are being worked on by good people.
Wow.
And I was like, well, if Hank Green is telling me that, then I'm fine. I'm good.
Okay. And if Lou is
people
telling
are like,
me
what about climate change? What about scary things? Sorry.
No, I was going to say, if Lou is telling me that Hank Green told them that, then I believe in that.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? They mostly told Vic Michaelis that. And I'm like, if Hank Green's going to tell Vic Michaelis that, then I'm going to believe him.
Yeah. In Vic Michaelis, we trust. However, I would not send them to space. And that's that. Speaking of celebrities who went to space.
I would.
Oh. Who are you sending?
I would send Brendan Lee Mulligan and or Jacob Wysocki to space.
I would send Brendan Lee Mulligan. I don't think that Jacob Wysocki would want to go.
I don't think so either, but I think if he went, he would be gathering the same type of information I would want to know without me having to go.
Right. And that information would sort of be like, is it real? Did you get there? What's up there?
What's going on? Did you see the footprint? Did you see the flag? Did you see the retro reflector that everyone's talking about so much?
Well, and because I used to think that, like, we went to space, right? And, like, to space in general. However, when you saw the celebrity women that they picked to be like, they're going to space, I'm like, you picked, like, the women I would believe most to lie in the history of famous women.
Of course.
And to be fair, I can only think of 2 of them.
Well, of course, and I'm thinking of the same 2.
Right? Okay. Katy Perry and...
Gail and Katie.
Exactly!
And then the other 3.
Yeah, that was so crazy. That was, to me, crazier than previously when, do you remember, Lance Bass was going to become an astronaut?
No.
When I say Lance Bass, you know of whom I speak.
Sure, Backstreet. No, NSYNC.
Gay
NSYNC.
NSYNC.
Boy band. Gay NSYNC.
Good personal friend of Kathy Griffin, my former idol, by the way. Loved that lady down hard. He was like, after he was done being in boy bands and after he was gay, he was like, I'm gonna go to space now.
Hey, that's amazing. Last I heard, he loves having tea parties with his daughter.
That's really, really adorable. I would like to go.
It's nice.
And now, would you rather go to the moon or would you rather go into the deep sea?
And those are the two options.
Yep, it's that or bust.
And I can't stay home.
No, you can't stay home. You don't have to live there, but you do have to go. Yeah.
My two biggest fears
Mm-hmm.
are space and the ocean.
Yes.
I saw Interstellar in theaters.
No.
Where they went to a planet that was just the ocean.
Horrifying.
Not for me.
No.
I guess space because we know more. And I think that the creatures in the sea are more of a threat to humankind than creatures in space.
So that answers my second question. Would you rather get abducted by aliens or kidnapped by dolphins?
I would love to be abducted by aliens.
Yeah. You're not scared of them probing?
Pray for it. Those are my freaking guys. No. They can probe me. Whatever.
Oh, nice.
But those are my guys. Those are my bros.
What do you think,
that they're like? That. Sick as hell. Smart. Good snacks, cool clothes. They're wearing a lot of metallics.
Okay.
What do you think they're like?
Well, now I want them to be like that. Because honestly, I think that they'd be sort of skittish. I think they'd be probably... I can't get my hands in the frame and show how big I think that they are. Also, for those of you who aren't looking at me, I'm sort of putting my hands about 2 feet apart. I imagine them little guys, and they scamper around, and they speak a language other than our own, but can understand all languages. And there's always a lot of them. They're community-based. And I do think that they wear little pieces. And I think that they are skittish, but very curious. And I'm just describing toddlers. What I'm describing is a toddler.
The smartest toddler you can think of, that's an alien.
That's an alien.
But I actually think that's real and true because isn't the most amazing... Isn't the most amazing thing about children how open they are?
They're so connected. That's true.
I just think that the aliens of my dreams have the same disposition as children, where they're just, curious and open-hearted.
Yeah. I think that they want to share. I think that they are, I think they have good snacks for sure. And...
Cool snacks.
Like in, Xenon, where she like comes to Earth and is like, what's up with Earth food? And then she calls onion rings like O-rings or whatever. And she's like, stellar. I gotta watch that again.
Yeah, I haven't watched it except for the one time that it was coming out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. You don't have that like millennial nostalgia brain rot that makes you go back and watch stuff from childhood?
I think, there's something where most Disney Channel original movies are scary to me.
Yeah.
I think I was really sensitive. Like, do you remember, which amazing title, by the way, Double Team? Where two twins are basketball players. When one of the twins hurt their ankle, I like turned off my TV and went upstairs, went under the covers. I was like,
it's
she has
like
to give up her dreams.
It's so funny to respond to a moment of like, oh no, this is so tense, the same way that you would like if there was a monster. Like that you hid under your covers from it is amazing. But I do understand that feeling of like not being able to like sit with the uncomfortable feelings that would come up in film and television.
Yeah, it's like watching any movie about a dog,
Yeah. Who are they making
unless
those
it's
movies
Beethoven
for?
or Airbud. Masochists,
Like the ones about the
sadists,
dogs that are
get them mixed
reincarnated?
up.
Masochists. Sadists make the movies for masochists
Yeah. Yeah.
about
Hey, yeah.
about the reincarnated dog with the voice of Josh Gad. What are you talking about?
Huh?
Yeah, my YouTube algorithm loves to show me clips from the movie about a dog who dies like a dog does and then keeps coming back and just keeps looking for his
Like a
old
dog
owner,
does.
played by Dennis Quaid, and it's the voice of Josh Gad. Which, I'm sorry, is different than another sad movie about dogs with Milo, last name, don't know. The guy who Jess,
Vilamenta.
yeah, Jess from Gilmore Girls and his dog, and Amanda Seyfried, whose last name I also don't know how to say. And it's like, and then that dog has a voice that is not Josh Gad's voice. It's a voice that is unrecognizable to me, but it's just like a very sad. It's a very sad movie about a dog watching his owner's life fall apart, and then he dies because he's a dog.
Yeah, it's
So
devastating. Well, and yeah, I don't need to say what I was going to say, especially because I forgot it.
that'll happen. God said nope and took it back because God puts
Oh,
all
I
your
was just
thoughts
going to
in
say
your head.
and God backwards.
His dog. Cut it. Whoa. We uncovered the truth.
Cut it. Yeah, people love being sad about dogs, and one of my favorite singers ever, Haley Blay, like one of her first EPs is called, I think, Dog Lives. Like one of her songs is called Dog Lives, and she's just like, I would give you my entire life if I could make you live one more life. Cats have 9 lives, dogs have 1, and that's fucked up, and I want to give you my life. And I said, I love this girl, but she's bringing in that sad dog narrative, and I just don't. I'm missing that gene.
You're missing the sad dog
I'm missing
gene?
that gene.
I'm missing the
Yeah,
gene that
because
wants
I
to
think
watch
I'm
it.
already naturally sad about them.
Yeah. Well, because domesticated animals freak you out. As we discovered last
Well,
week.
I just can't understand it.
Here is something that you might be able to understand a little bit better, which is fuck, marry, kill, Bigfoot, aliens, or the Mothman.
Okay, easy.
Okay, let's hear it.
Fuck Bigfoot, marry aliens, kill Mothman.
I knew that would be your answer.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I think I'm gonna marry Bigfoot, fuck the aliens, and kill Mothman.
Yeah, so we can all agree that Mothman dies, but there is a group of people who think he can fuck. Let me say that.
And how beautiful for them to think that.
It's cool.
You
Good for
know,
them.
they're not
I'm afraid
hurting
of moths
anyone.
the same way I'm afraid of the deep ocean. So
I think moths are kind of charming, but Mothman? No, thank you.
to me, that's a step up from moth. Because
Really?
I've come in contact with a man before. Still scary, but I understand it a little more.
Yeah. I would say that a moth is more predictable than a man.
Totally. Moths only want one thing: light bulb.
Light bulb. What is with that?
Bug.
Now,
Well,
do you
that's
think
sort of like a whole alien species, you know?
bug?
I think, well, something quirky and amazing about me is that I think that every species is an alien form.
Okay, so entertain this narrative. We are on Earth, the only planet not named
Totally.
after a Greek god. Weird. And this planet is an amalgamation of species from all other planets. That someone was like, wouldn't that be a fun show? Wouldn't that be a fun reality show? We give them lions, we give them lizards, let's give them bacteria and put them all together to see what happens. Sometimes I think that's what's happening.
Dude, and I'm really glad you mentioned bacteria because that's the biggest one of them all.
You know? I'm sorry. If God made this planet, why would he make that? Now.
Yeah. Well, of course, yeast infections and colds.
Right. Why'd God do
It's
that?
like a
Well,
little
a
prank.
cold a cold is a virus. And where do those come from? See, no, those are computer generated. Bacteria are from aliens. Can we agree on that?
We can. I don't know. Because yeah. Viruses, because computers get viruses, so that's the
Exactly.
origin.
I'm figuring it all out. I'm putting all the pieces together. Oh, golly gee. Okay, I have one more question, which is really timely, really good for us to have just been talking about bacteria and viruses. For my next question to be, who do you trust more? NASA or Big Pharma? Yeah.
NASA.
You trust NASA more? What if
I think so because what?
No, you go. You
I
think
was just
so?
gonna say that Big Pharma is here to numb us to the reality, and NASA is still like actively participating in reality, even though I've got a lot of questions.
Yeah. Well, what if I told you that NASA actually stood for National Association of Space Actors? How would you feel about that?
You're blowing my mind, buddy.
Alternatively, what if NASA actually stands for not actually a space agency?
What?
Also, something I uncovered in my research, which like I believe that this part's true, is that like the technology that brought us to space we got that from Nazis.
Everything is based in white supremacy.
Which is so crazy to think of that we were like, yeah, okay, we'll enter this war and stop this genocide at the final hour. How many Jews died? 6 million? We'll step in now. Oh, but we will sort of collect some of the Nazis to do science. Think of the science that the Nazis learned. We gotta take those guys over here. They gotta bring us to space. What are you talking about?
Yeah. It's tough, it's bleak.
So, therefore, it's not safe to trust Big Pharma. It's not safe to trust not actually a space agency. National
Nazis
Association.
and space actors.
Mind
acronym
blown.
Dropped.
Yeah, I like that one. Nazi and space actors. That's the one for me.
For you? Yeah, it's big and scary, and it's just sort of every podcast episode for me is exactly the same. We're talking about vastly different things, and yet I'm like, well, it's all connected. And if you actually think about it, because I'm insane now, and the government is actively sending me into a psychosis.
I know, which like, is that by design too? I'm gonna weave that in.
Well, that is it, and it is, and it like, come on, it is.
Come on.
And come on, it is. It just makes me want to scream.
Yeah. Once you start noticing the patterns find you.
Yeah. And boy, do they. I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing so loud. It's well, okay, I just have to get this thought out and we can literally cut it, but it's just like the way that the government uses, I mean, we talked about this last episode, the way that the government like uses science and scientists to be bad is so crazy. And do you keep seeing that? I mean, okay, starting this podcast has vastly changed my algorithm.
I know, me too. Which like does make me sick in the head. Like it makes me.
No, I'm ill.
I'm dying
because everything that comes across my page, I'm like, no.
I know.
Shh.
Don't put that thought in my head.
Or it's like, yeah, I had a passing thought about that 5 years ago, and now you're gonna give me a 10-minute video about why it's true.
Yeah.
And I want my listeners to know I understand that just because it could be true doesn't mean it's true, but I just also want to say, hey, consider everything.
And that's the number one takeaway from anything to me is just question. Don't be so dedicated to one school of thought that you lose your ability to wonder. Put that on a t-shirt.
Especially because now some of our wonders are truth.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So anyway, have you seen that video that comes across your page every second about how Epstein had sorry for saying that. Should I say something else for algorithm? That Batman, the file man. The island man. He had just like a group of scientists that he would pay so much money for like undocumented experiments. And to me that just means the same as like the crazy Nazi doctors who would do insane human experiments on captured Jews. Like I don't know. So it's just like it's happening forever, all over, forever, constantly. And also like the government in the fake reality of X-Files was paying huge sums of money to do top secret medical experiments on who? Aliens? What?
Well, okay.
I sound so dumb every episode.
No, we're enlightened. We're just curious. We're just having a good time and wondering.
I'm just curious
about this. This is something I've noticed. Well, something that I do think about a lot with science. Okay, do I think science is real? Yeah. Do I also think science is magic? But I think that like when you're receiving information from the government or from a scientific agency, you have to consider like why those experiments are being done in the first place, and that like I'm not a scientist, but I imagine it would be very, very hard to create an actual study that is actually unbiased unless you were like, what would happen? Like, you know, like if you're just like high out of your mind, like enjoying a sunny day, and then you have an idea. That's the only way to have unbiased science studies to me.
But it's still even a little biased because you have this idea that's guiding your practices.
Right. Like you think that it's going to have a certain outcome one way or the other. And therefore that's what you're looking for. So that does influence the work and then their findings. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe
crazy style.
So crazy style. Okay, so science brought us to space. And again, as I was saying earlier, I used to be like, well, at least space is real. And I
call me crazy, but I still believe space is real.
But I'm like, I don't get it. Which I guess is ultimately how I feel about like how like a CD-ROM works too. And I know that's real because I can hold it in my hand. So
yeah.
But I don't understand the technology that makes that thing go round and round and play music.
Yeah. I've watched hundreds of videos on how vinyl works, on how records work. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
People have told me 100 different ways.
That's the other thing too I have to consider when I pontificate about things, is that people can't explain it to me and I just go, that went, So ultimately,
I don't have the hardware for that.
Exactly.
I have the hardware to cut out a little flower and then spend 10 minutes going, that's really amazing.
That is really amazing. Did you freehand that, by the way?
Yeah.
For those of you who
so
can't
I may
see,
not understand science.
But what's more important?
For those of you who can't see, I'm going to hold it closer to you.
For those of you who can't see,
flower?
Lou is holding a really beautifully cut out little orange flower. And it does really evoke the essence that Katy Perry had when she went to space with Gail. That was so crazy. And then everyone was like, isn't that so inspirational? They sent 5 women to, I almost said to jail. So,
well,
you know, hey.
Women in STEM. And I like that we called them women in STEM just because they were going to space.
Like, they didn't have to know anything about it. Like, when I get on an airplane, I'm not a woman in aviation. I'm a lady in the sky. Like, but like, I had nothing to do with getting up there other than I got to the airport on time.
I'm just a lady in the sky.
Just a lady in the sky.
Yeah, dude.
But all of this to say, we all are familiar with, and well, cut that, because here's what I'm actually wondering. Are you aware of the talks of going to space? And by space, I mean the moon, again, inevitably soon.
A little bit based on my findings. And that's when I sort of saw the scary thing that I was like, I actually can't know about this. Because it's gonna send me into
A deeper
again psychosis.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one would actually knock me out. I mean, and it's in a, they're building a hotel on the moon.
What do you mean?
So there's a man who's a CEO of a company that he used to make shit Tesla. And now he's starting this project to build a hotel on the moon. And when I tell you how nauseous I feel talking about this,
Well,
it's like by 2031, and you can make reservations right now.
okay, and I'm going to say something controversial and say that that does make me believe in the moon landing more, because it's like, because for capitalism to be spending money on such an investment makes me think that there's got to be somewhere. But then again, in my research, what I found was a theory that they just like they put the astronauts on drugs and just sort of like put them in a room and like was like, you're in space now.
Well, I have 2 points to support that.
Let's hear them.
Which is one, I don't know, are you a 30 Rock guy?
I have watched the entirety of 30 Rock, and I remember exactly one episode from it. It's the one where Liz Lemon gives blood and then she imagines the blue guy. Everything other than that,
Yeah.
I've sat down and seen a rerun of it on and been like, what is happening? I don't remember this at all. Also, John Hamm was in it as her hot boyfriend.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah.
He was so stupid and they had to break up because he was stupid hot. There's an episode where Tracy like wins something.
Mm-hmm.
They have to make Tracy think that he won like a trip to the moon. Because Jenna's gel, I don't know, it's like a thing. Anyway, so they in the studio create a full trip to the moon for him.
Yeah.
And he believes that he's on space.
Right. Exactly.
And just to support that could work, in pre-kindergarten, my pre-K teacher took us to Antarctica and we had a flight simulation, and I believe Antarctica.
That's so sweet.
So it can work on anyone.
By the way, we should do a
Even
whole
smart,
episode on
brilliant
Antarctica.
astronauts would love to, because The Thing,
one of the best movies ever made. And because of I don't know what goes on there, but then Nazis wanted to go there too. So I'm sorry, Nazis wanted to go to the moon and Nazis wanted to go to Antarctica. I think Nazis actually went to Antarctica and did science there. We'll have to find out. But
people love to go to the moon and Antarctica for science.
And they love to be Nazis, unfortunately. So that's one theory, is that the astronauts were high out of their minds and went to the moon. Another theory is, as Ren Stevens would say, we went to the moon in 1969. Not 1968, but the year after. So there's always that to consider as a source of information.
Totally. You have to think about it.
Also, did I get those dates wrong? When did we go to the moon?
July 20th, 1969.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great.
I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I guess I want to start by asking if you think we went to the moon.
Right. Okay, so do I think we went to the moon? I think no. I think we did not go to the moon. I think that it doesn't make a lot of sense the way that it happened, given like so Russia had gone into space so many more times, had so much more experience with space travel than we had. So we hadn't even hardly had maybe any successful missions to space, but then we can just suddenly go to the moon. And the way that like the landing happened so seamlessly with the broadcast of it, that there was like no technical problems. Then there's that rock that has the letter C on it very clearly. The more I think about it and the more that I look at it and the more that I learn, I believe more and more that we did not go to the moon. Also, it doesn't make sense to me that like we would lose the technology or the knowledge of how to get there. Like all of a sudden that's all gone, and so what are you talking about? All of it. Hey, what's going on?
I agree with every single thing you said. Also, the very first thing I have written down is, well, that's convenient.
And that is like the whole every piece of the narrative of how we got there is exactly that. Is well, isn't that convenient? Like the Van Allen. Do you have it written down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the
Wait, I
Van
have it written
Allen
down.
radiation.
Yeah, the Van Allen belts.
Yeah, where like there's like this crazy spot of intense radiation that the astronauts had to go through to get to the moon. And the research was like, if you spent an hour there, you would die so horribly. And that, I'm sorry, they came back with no radiation sickness, because then people are like,
Point
well,
0.42.
0.42 minutes.
0
I'm like, what?
0.42 radiations.
And I know what that means.
Me too. Well, some people were like, that's as much as getting an X-ray.
Uh-huh.
And other people were like, some, but not enough to be scary.
Right. Okay, so that's what they say. That's how much the astronauts were in reality exposed to.
When they came back and they measured the radiation on the astronauts, it was
Got it.
0.42.
Amazing. Yeah, because and then they were like, but the aluminum of
Well,
the
isn't that
spaceship.
so crazy? Because I'm like, hey guys, we're not putting a sheet. I mean, listen, I know I'm being hyperbolic, but we're not putting a sheet of tinfoil over ourselves. Go for an X-ray. We're wearing a full lead bib forward and backward.
Yeah.
Where was the lead in the rocket? And where was the lead in their spacesuits? None.
Right. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that like they came back completely unfazed by the Van Allen radiation belt.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also, I mean, the way that they'll be like, well, so they left footprints on the moon, but not a mark from the lander because of the silt. The silt made,
It's the silt. There's so much dust there. But the footprints are there, and that's how we can prove to you we went to the moon. There are footprints, yeah.
You can still see them. And you can still see the flag.
Do you want to go down my list of hoax and fact?
I really do. I really, really do.
Okay. So I'm going to read off reasons people think it's a hoax.
Okay.
And then CJ is going to guess or know how they've debunked it.
Yeah.
Okay. So some people think it's a hoax because in photos from the moon landing, there are no stars in the background. And people are like, well, if you're in space, there's going to be stars.
Right. I think what I've heard about that is they're like, there's suns out there, it's bright. You're on the bright side of the moon. You're not on the dark side of the moon. So it's too light to see stars. And then also there was something about like the cameras and reflection and stuff like that is what they say.
Yeah. Yes. I mostly found like, well, did you ever consider it was actually lunar night, which is when all the stars are not there?
Yeah. Do you ever think about that?
It's just, I mean, I'll say this 42 times as we go down this list, but all of these answers are sixth graders arguing on a playground.
Well.
What would you say about the flag isn't acting right?
Okay, so the flag isn't acting right is that when they got it there, there's no air in space, so it shouldn't have blown around. But they keep being like, but the pole was designed special, and they had to twist it into the ground of the moon, and therefore, with the twisting and the unfolding of it, that's what makes the illusion that it waved for a while. However,
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, so wouldn't it have stopped waving after a while? And then would it just stand up because there's no anything to move it? But there's a little bit of gravity on the
Okay.
moon.
Well, so the pole, I spent a long time studying this and reading about it, but the pole is like has a 90-degree thing, so the flag is sewn on the top, and then there's like a latch at the top and a latch on the bottom.
Oh.
And then the rest of the flag is sort of wrinkly. And so everything I was reading was like, well, it takes time to unfurl. And so you were seeing like the ripples of it unfurling. But I'm like, wouldn't the corner that's not tethered to anything sort of just like lift and stay? It wouldn't move.
Right.
And it wouldn't like have, if it's tethered in these points, I don't think it would fall in like a. I also feel like I should say I believed that we landed on the moon until about 2 years ago.
I would
And
say.
then when I saw the trailer for Fly Me to the Moon,
Okay.
I said, that's proof that we didn't.
I remember that receiving that text message that you were like, the Channing Tatum movie makes me think that we did not go to the moon. And I was like, love that. Welcome to the party. Because the first conspiracy I ever entertained was that we didn't go to the moon. When my college professor said, like, he just went, did we? And I went, because his whole thing was like, you should question stuff. You shouldn't, don't trust everything. And so he's like, I don't know if we went. And I have adopted that entire persona. I don't know. Like, we could have gone to the moon. That's true.
Totally. We could have.
I don't know. I haven't been, and I'm not going to go.
Also, we could have not.
Right. But I think that, like,
yeah,
one theory makes a little more sense to me, but it is not out of the realm of possibility that we went to the moon. And also, I would never ruin a Thanksgiving dinner by trying to argue it,
Yeah. Well, it's simply not that to me.
Right.
Because to me, my reality is that the moon is up there and she's beautiful and she makes me feel emotions. That's it. That's my personal relationship with the moon. I don't need anything else.
Yeah. It's like, what? It's just none of my business. What goes on out there is none of my business. What goes down deep in the ocean, none of my business. If I was meant to go there, my business. I would have the physical ability to do so.
Well, I do think I'm sure that there are true and real explanations for this, and I said this kind of at the top, but like once I started thinking about did we actually go to the moon, I was like, it's so crazy that the submersible happened on our own planet, but yet we're like, hey, everything up there that's hard to get to, because I also firmly believe humans are meant to be on the ground.
I believe
we're supposed to be on the ground.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, Wright brothers.
Yeah.
Let's be on the ground.
I don't think we belong up there, which is one of the biggest reasons I hate flying. I just don't. I'm not supposed to be up there, and that's why it's like
I don't have wings. We've never evolved into that.
It's so much scarier to fly in an airplane, even though people will say, like, statistically it's safer than a car. But it's like, but I belong on the ground, and that's where a car is, and I don't belong in the sky, and that's where a plane is.
If I'm listening to the rhythm of the universe,
as you should,
her gravity is pulling me down into the ground. My therapist is telling me to be more grounded, so I'm going to be on the ground.
Yeah.
Electricity is only safe when it's grounded. Oh, let's all be ground guys. Groundhogs, they get it. I'm one of those thems.
And all groundhogs are they them. And I would honestly believe that.
That's canon.
I would totally.
Groundhogs do have real they them energy.
They really do. Of course, now I want to go on a side quest and be like, what other animals have they them energy? And I would add penguins.
Yeah, totally. Wow.
Yeah.
I would say almost all fish are agender.
I think that all fish are sort of like beyond gender. Like it just it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect them.
Yeah, seahorses are transmasc though.
Okay. And I do think all sharks are boys. And all dolphins are girls.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Just something to think about.
Okay, so we covered the Van Allen belts.
We did.
A lot of people are like, how are we supposed to believe the moon landing when we saw Stanley Kubrick execute a moon landing on film?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then so the Stanley Kubrick, I listened to a podcast about the moon landing, and they kept saying Stanley Kubrick, and now
I'm probably saying it wrong. I'm famous for that.
I think it's Kubrick, and every time they said Kubrick, I would just go Kubrick. So it did interfere with my listening. So I'm sorry if that happens to anyone when I say Stanley Kubrick. I think it makes sense to me that Stanley Kubrick could have directed the moon landing, especially given his talent for film. I also learned on the podcast where they said his name funny that so to film the moon landing, NASA bought these really intense lenses that were meant to record in low light, which, by the way, if it's sunny out there on the moon, it's so sunny that you can't see stars, why do you need a lens that can record in low light? But this guy made these 6 lenses that could record in low light that are like really intense, really amazing. And NASA had 5 of them. And guess who had the other one?
Stanley Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick had the other lens. Then there's also when you get into the Stanley Kubrick of it all, there is then the theory, of course, that he made Eyes Wide Shut, and Eyes Wide Shut he created to be like, well, I know what you guys are doing, and this is what everyone's doing, and this is real, and this is true, so I'm going to tell everyone the truth. But then the company, by company I mean the studios, re-edited it, and then my favorite part of the theory is that then they being the powers that be, shot Stanley Kubrick with a heart attack gun. Do you know about the people who believe in the existence of heart attack guns?
No, but I believe it could happen.
So that
seems like a very simple science, actually.
Right? I hope to never find out.
I also want to say this really quickly.
Please.
Oh, geez, oh, Pete.
Stanley Kubrick.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Just wanted to get that off my chest. Yeah, a heart attack gun seems real. And okay, so one of the new things I found, I want to keep going down the list, but one of the other things that I found today that I was like, okay, well, this unfortunately also makes me think it's fake, is that Kim Kardashian said out loud that it's fake. And to me, Kim Kardashian is allowed to know these things because her family is top of the dark magic pyramid.
100%. I think that those people eat other people's souls. I think I said that last week. I think that they're soul eaters, and therefore it makes sense that they would get to know and even like maybe be in charge of some of that stuff.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? I think that Kim Kardashian went to the moon. I think she's probably from there.
No.
No, because she's from a demon dimension. Sorry.
Come on.
Yeah.
Don't talk about the moon like that in front of me. I was gonna say,
put some respect on her name.
Because here's my biggest thing is that I'm like, this is my girl, and we are just disrespecting her.
Yeah. Well,
every second. I can't get over putting a hotel on her. Did you ask her? Consent matters.
I know.
And I really mean that, and I know it sounds insane.
So you sort of now, do you think that you speak of the moon as if the moon has sentience? Do you think that the moon has sentience in a way, or is it like I think my stuffed animals are gonna come alive and be sad when I snuggle one of them more than the other?
Why
Sentience.
not both? Why not both?
You know?
To me, she's sentient because and I love to say this, but I mean it, and my intuition goes off. I have really good intuition. Every person that I've met and felt that they're evil, something comes out about them being truly evil.
100%.
I'm really good at that, and like there are one of the arguments in my friend group recently, I don't know if this will mean anything to you, I don't think so, is that Rob from The Traitors and Love Island is bi, and I'm like, he's bi because I know he is. I know he is.
Right.
And so many of the arguments are like, okay, but he's a boy from Alabama who likes snakes. And I'm like, yeah, and I know he's bi.
You're like, how reductive of you to think that a boy from Alabama who likes snakes can't also like penises, which are what? Snake-shaped. Come on.
Let's talk about being obsessed with a phallus. Come on.
Come on.
Anyway, so in that same way, I know that the woman in the moon, who is the moon, is a woman in the moon.
Amen. Exactly. Yeah, which is what, like, well, last week on the pod, I was saying that, like, the moon was a light source. And maybe instead it's an eyeball. You know? It's a little lady who goes like this.
Well, she's got a face.
And she peeks out at us.
This isn't a good example, actually.
She goes, what are you doing down there? And she goes, ah! You know? She goes, ah! They're doing it wrong. But she can only do so much to stop us from ourselves.
It's true, and it's frankly not her job.
No. Her job is to light up the night sky.
We could be a little more responsible.
Yeah. Moon's
her
job.
Moon is her moon. Her job is to make romance. Her job is to make tides. Look at her.
She's in my armpit. Those of you who can't see me, I'm wearing a sweatshirt that has the moon on it, and she is kind of located in my armpit. So the moves I had to do to show the moon to the camera were quite attractive.
And she's got eyelashes. CJ and the moon.
I was just going to say. So we know it's a girl.
Okay. We know it's a girl. Despite what you were thinking earlier in the week.
I know. I take that back.
One time I did a mushroom trip and I was like, my dad is the moon and my mom is the sun. And I had a friend who was like, oh, so you're gender swapping. And then that's how I learned that the moon is classically a woman.
Yeah.
But also at that time, the moon was already my wife. And it was just sort of like in that moment, my dad was the moon.
I understand.
So, and my dad was really afraid to think about his feminine side and like, what does that say? And so once again, should we do an ep on my dad? Okay, so I would say the final big fact that people argue is that the missing videotapes are the original videotapes are missing.
What the hell?
And all of the blueprints are missing.
What are you talking?
All of the blueprints for how they're getting to the moon are missing.
What do you?
Which once again, I must say, isn't that convenient?
And I don't know how people explain that away because that is insane.
They say, literally, okay, well, here's the thing, is that on my list of facts, and this is how we're debunking it, it is all like the classic American excuses that they use in every scenario for everything, which is, okay, well, also, let me start by saying, okay, no, I'll give the real answer. Their explanation is, we may not have the original footage or the blueprints, but there's a lot of other pictures. That's not anything. Hey, how do we know we went to the moon? Well, there's moon rocks in displays.
That I am telling you is a moon rock.
Yeah. How do you know we went to the moon? The spacesuits literally still have dust on them.
And dust is only from the moon.
So does literally my cabinets and this disco ball.
You know?
How do I know we went to the moon? Well, because there's actually testimonies from the astronauts who did it.
And people
Okay,
never
and you're
lie.
not paying them hush money. And then the other two that are like more believable is that there's a retro reflector that all the that's on the moon that space stations use to point lasers off and measure the distance. But also I'm like, well, we sent other satellites and rovers to the moon. That doesn't necessarily mean that humans went to the moon.
Right.
If we want to use that can get there in another way. And also show me to me, Rachel.
Show me to me, Rachel.
And then the biggest answer that I saw about everything was, okay, well then why would another country say that America went to the moon if we didn't?
It's because we're in charge of
everything. I don't know,
everything.
because America is like a dictatorship of the world.
You know, for starters, maybe might have something to do with it. Yeah. I mean, and it's just like, it's so boring and small-minded to be so confident in it. Like, there's like nothing more boring than like trusting the government that much. You like really think that the government's always telling you the truth to the point where you're like, it makes sense to me that men in space, big heavy spacesuits, got into a big heavy machine and launched that machine into space, and then also, I frankly, and this might sound stupid, as opposed to everything else I've ever said on this podcast that sounded really brilliant and earth-shattering, I don't understand how, if there's no air, you steer, and how do you... I also don't understand how planes steer, though. I don't get how they know where they're going. What are they seeing? That I don't get it. And it's not for me to understand. I belong on the ground.
Right.
But I don't understand how you move in space, but I guess with blasters. But then how is a blaster so strong that it moves you throughout space in a direction of your choosing, but doesn't leave a mark on the moon?
Well, yeah. To me, it's all sort of a smoking gun. Well, and even today I was listening to space, but they were talking about like fear of flying, and British Airways offers a course where you can go to the airport and have pilots like explain things to you, and then they take you on like mini flights just like around the airport, and a pilot is like walking you through every step. It seems very cute.
That's sweet.
But a lot of the reasoning was like, hey, so when we reach this altitude, we're in jello. What do you mean?
They say that a lot.
What do you mean?
Which makes me go,
jello? No, we're in the air.
Right, so then what's up there? Are we in jello? I think I'm losing my mind.
It's all so much. Well, it's also like, I think that I started questioning the moon landing at the same time I started questioning other things in the government that have obviously come out as being completely untrue. And you know, people questioning the moon landing was during Nixon's presidency, and right, or Reagan, who I get them. I'm like, those two bad guys, the worst ones.
I know, right? Well, I wish they were still the worst ones. But they're all family.
Nixon or Reagan? Watergate was Nixon, right?
Yes, Watergate was Nixon, and that was in the 70s. Reagan was president in the 80s.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so it was Nixon stuff. All of this stuff with Nixon was coming out as untrue, and so then people were inherently questioning everything that the government was feeding them, and then the government was giving them really amazing answers like, but there's dust on it.
Awesome. That's also how you know.
How are people supposed to believe that?
I don't know.
Sorry.
It's also how you know that behind my bed's been in space. There's dust there. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, dude.
The amount of times I've said, what are you talking about, is unreal.
Well, it's this. There's definitely 10 key phrases that we both use in every single episode. And to like watch yourself back is really an illuminating experience.
Yeah.
Much like how the sun illuminates the moon to me and not to my friend.
Not
and
to
that's
me.
beautiful.
Girl, she lights herself up.
Which she has the power to. I want to say that.
You know what I mean?
I'm not saying she's not capable of it. I'm just saying I think right now it's the sun.
Right.
I don't even know where to keep starting. Um sort of things we're I don't know. I have stuff about marketing in the 60s. I have stuff about the Fly Me to the Moon movie.
I really, yeah, I was hoping that you would regale us with a synopsis of the Fly Me to the Moon movie, which stars famously one of my least favorite actresses in the world, Scarlett Johansson.
Mhm. And we can
Uh,
connect on that.
Thank God. I'm tired of people going, oh, really? Yeah, really, really, I mean it.
First of all, she's boring to me. Second of all, she's married to Colin Jost. I don't trust that.
No. Can I say something? I don't trust the
Of
cast of
course.
SNL.
Dude, I don't know if you've seen in our notes, but I have like SNL and 3 SNL adjacent episode ideas. So
I just think
no,
that.
I don't trust SNL either. Are you kidding me? Okay, so
Okay.
Fly Me to the Moon starring Scarlett Johansson, who we both hate.
Yes.
And I also just want to take this time to say I don't like Scarlett Johansson because she's married to Colin Jost, and I don't trust Colin Jost because of who he is, and also because he doesn't seem to have an issue with Michael Che, who I also believe, similarly to Jimmy, is a demon.
Yeah.
I get the worst vibes from Michael Che.
I think that we gotta do a deep dive on Lorne Michaels. What's that guy doing?
And if Tina Fey really does take over after this year, that's something.
I don't
Because
trust
I've
Tina
hated
Fey.
Tina Fey for so long, even though I think 30 Rock is the most brilliant show ever.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
She's so flippant.
And then it's hard for me. Well, and she's dumb. She cannot read the fucking room.
Yeah.
She cannot read the room of society. And then it's also crazy to me that she's best friends with my other biological mother, Amy Poehler.
Right. And Maya Rudolph, who you also love.
Well, Maya Rudolph, for some reason, I feel like Maya Rudolph learned the truth at a young age because she like was brought up in fame, and so she knew what she wanted to do to protect herself. And it's also like a green flag for me for Maya Rudolph to be best friends with Kristen Wiig, who Kristen Wiig's entire personal life is like no one knows what's going on because she wants to stay out of it.
Yeah, she wanted to sort of like do comedy, make funny stuff, but didn't want to sell her soul to a god of an owl to do it.
Okay, so anyway, this movie.
Yes.
Let me just say, I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, so you're telling me the moon landing is fake. Basically it's like Scarlett Johansson girl boss, like secret girl boss in the series. No girls are girl bossing yet. It's Mad Men time. So it's so rare to have a girl boss. All the girl bosses were boys. And she's such a good girl boss that the government's like, Queen, we love what you're doing with, you know, I'm trying to think of any item. We love what you're doing with refrigerators. Could you do the same thing for the moon landing?
Oh.
And she's like, what do you mean? And they're like, we love the way people are buying fridges right now because her like take on it, because her thing is like she girlifies everything.
Nice.
We're not just marketing to men anymore. We're marketing to women and children too. We're capitalizing on every brain cell that we can get. And so she's working hand in hand with NASA to like make watches about the moon landing, make biscuits about the moon landing. Like I think in the movie, like she was responsible for the Tang being the astronaut drink. She like, and then I was doing research on American products that benefited from the space race, and it's everything.
Really?
Everything. Yeah, like cars were doing it. It was everything of like this American technology can either A, replicate what astronauts are doing. So it's like you could take this Rolex to the moon and it'll still tick away. Or like we're using NASA's science to make your Corvette an Astrovet. Like it was just like brand integration into everything,
Yeah.
including banks.
Well, I was gonna say, would you compare the moon landing marketing to the marketing, say, of Wicked Part 1?
Wicked Part 2 more.
Really?
Well, because to me, Wicked 1 was like the excitement, and then Wicked 2 was like, do you want your Tide Pods to be pink and green?
Yeah, that was the one that really made me go, oh my god. Well, it was like Gain Sense Wicked edition, and I was like, girls, get it together.
Girls!
Sick in the head. You're
pink
selling
gas.
You're selling to me a product that is designed to disrupt my hormones, and you want little girls to want their moms to buy it. How dare you? I hate Gain Sense. I hate scents. I hate smells. I hate smells that come from
I'm
the
addicted
government.
to this stuff.
I love a real smell. I love to smell an orange, but I don't like fake smells. They freak me out.
I'm generally that way. Well, but I have to have laundry detergent that smells like candy.
Mm-mm.
I'm not proud of it. But Gain Moonlight Breeze, baby, that's the stuff. I'll drink it. I'll drink it.
Oh man.
It's exactly what they want.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you off smells.
I don't think you will.
I'm gonna get you off smells.
Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Revlon, Mattel, Tang, Banks.
Did Barbie
Corvette,
go to the moon?
Ford. What? Who?
Did Barbie go to the moon?
No, but they were making astronaut dolls separately.
Wow. Okay.
I'm sure Barbie probably did go to. I can't say definitively Barbie didn't go to the moon, and it's like question everything. Did she?
Yeah. By now, Barbie has gone to the moon the same way we've been to the moon. Okay. Although,
yeah,
I would think it was charming if if going to the moon is real. I think they should bring a Barbie doll up there. That is charming to me.
Well, it's like, let's bring some whimsy to the moon and let's leave. Okay. Also, I'm like, why are we treating the moon? I mean, I know why.
Mm-hmm.
I know why, but why aren't we treating the moon right by leaving offerings there? Or at least having a little fun and being like, we think this cheese looks like you. Here. Like, we're calling this makeup moon dust and it's sparkly and beautiful. Maybe you want to try it on?
Just imagining astronauts
but instead,
doing some eyeshadow on the moon.
Rubbing a little dust on dust.
Yeah.
Instead, boys are building a hotel there. Anyway.
I hate that.
I'm so sad.
I know.
Okay. And then I was also reading things that made me say, yeah. But a lot of articles were like the space race was like the first national viral moment that people were like purchasing TVs for, which also RCA, baby, they make into big bucks. They were saying, you want to see the moon landing on color TV, which I don't know. It just benefited every American industry so much that, like, yeah, the moon landing could literally just be for money time.
Right.
Could just be for money time.
Kind of like most wars.
And astronauts, yeah. And astronauts were the first influencers because they were being the people advertising for all of these companies.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they were hiring models for some things, but the astronauts were the ones. Oh, and just to jump back really quickly, one of the reasons the moon landing was real was because when Buzz Aldrin was confronted by a conspiracy theorist, he punched him.
Yeah.
And that's how you know we went to the moon.
People only resort to physical violence when they have a really good point and they're telling the truth.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Scarlett Johansson made all of these ad deals, selling something. And they were like, you're so good at this. And Woody Harrelson, sort of like top secret guy. Ray Romano, Woody Harrelson, they're the marketing team of NASA, I think. And they're like, come here, we gotta ask you something. Would you be willing to duplicate the moon landing just in case we can't get it on film? and she's like, she sort of has a crush on Channing Tatum, big astronaut. He might be Biz Aldrin. I don't know. And she's like, I have a little crush on you, so I want to be respectful. They want us to have a backup moon landing in this studio. She says, Channing Tatum, would you be mad at me? Would you still want to kiss if I sort of helped the government make a fake moon landing? And he's like, no. And she's like, I won't do it. And then they're like, but we'll give you $2 gajillion. And she's like, fine, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And she's doing it in secret from Channing Tatum. And then Channing Tatum sees how amazing it all is. And he's like, okay, I'm in. You're doing a good job. Anyway, they make everything exactly like the moon. And then I'm like, how do they know? Because they haven't been there yet. But they're making it an identical set. And then basically it seems like they're not going to be able to record the moon landing.
Like the real one.
And so, yeah.
Okay.
And so the Space Center is like, let's have both cameras rolling, and then we'll tell you which feed to broadcast.
Huh.
And basically at the end, after they had landed on the moon and done everything in sync, because, okay, here's the other thing is that, like, the people in the Space Center had a script, which I guess would be like a checklist of things that they have to do once they get there, checking different parts of the ship and that type of thing. That does make sense. However, I'm like, they just have a full script of what will be said and responded, and they're going to line up the actors with what's happening over the broadcast, and they've been practicing it for months. And then once everything is over, they're like, so which one aired? And there's like a moment of confusion of like, we don't know.
Wow.
Both were good. Both were good. So either way. And I'm like, okay, so they're really making this movie for that when we figure it out, they can have a backup and be like, no, it was the right feed. It was just the right feed. Like, sure, we did it. We had an extra backup fake one, but it was the real feed. It's like, don't worry.
Okay. Wow, what a film. Totally makes me think we did not go to the moon. And also, did you know that, and I know this, did you know that what was broadcast into people's homes of the moon landing wasn't direct footage from the moon? So the moon landing was broadcast directly to 3 different locations around the world. And then those screens, or at least one of them, was filmed, and that is what was broadcast into people's homes. That would be like if I was recording us on my phone right now and live streaming from this, as opposed to, and also was it live? I don't know. I can't know that. But like, isn't that wacky? And then
it just seems like,
and then that NASA would have had those 3 direct real recordings from around the world, and none of them exist now. None of the original footage that was actually the direct broadcast is anywhere to be seen. What do you mean?
Seems convenient.
Sure
and the C on the rock that everyone's like, oh, well, set pieces have these.
Right.
Oh, the response is, oh, it's a hair.
Where? A hair?
The C is a hair.
On what?
Yeah, it was
rock?
probably a C on the lens. Someone's pube on the lens.
Oh my god.
We forgot to check for pubes.
I hate when that happens. When I'm doing a first in a lifetime broadcast, and I forget to check the lens for pubes. I did hear that, like, one of the reasons, and I do think this is a funny one, that one of the reasons that we stopped going to the moon, other than we forgot how, was like ratings for the moon landings were going down. People were like, we get it, we went there. I thought for a while that we only went to the moon one time, but I believe there were like 6 missions that went to the moon, and they, like, all the ratings of them just went down and down and down and down, and so they were like, well, let's give it a rest.
Well, it's sort of like, okay, you're gonna keep going to the moon?
For what? Yeah, like, what are you...
Awesome.
Nothing's changed up there.
So they can bring back rocks, so that there's proof.
They brought back so many moon rocks.
It was something like 3.78 tons of moon rock that we have on Earth now.
There is, okay. So when I was doing my research, Google AI told me why the hoax theory is unlikely. And this one I was like, okay. That over 400,000 people worked on the Apollo projects, making it impossible to keep such a massive secret. I'm like, well, that is a lot of people, but consider capitalism and the way that people desperately need money, you can buy the silence of anyone.
I was going to say, consider an NDA.
Yeah. Consider we'll kill your family if you say anything. Or worse, we'll eat them. And then another piece was, moon rocks. 382 kilograms of lunar samples were returned, which have been verified by scientists worldwide, not originating from Earth. Verified by scientists worldwide. Who's paying the scientists? You must consider the source.
You have to.
Consider the source.
You have to. It is so also sus to be like, this was the technology in 1969. It's 2026 and not anything has really been changed.
Yeah. Huh? Oh, also
what do you mean? Because our whole thing is that science is happening so fast. Prove it.
Yeah, then go to the moon. Go tomorrow. It shouldn't be that hard.
Go tomorrow.
And stay there. Don't.
If the moon is real, I was going to say send Elon, but then just let him keep going.
Yeah. Tell Elon that you're sending him to the moon and then just let him go.
Someone tell him there's amazing potential for life on the sun. This just in.
God.
Maybe could you check out the sun, please?
That man is amazing. One more myth that we haven't touched on is one more truth that we haven't touched on is the shadows in the photos are not parallel, which they would have been because the only source of light on the moon is what? The sun.
The sun.
Suggesting multiple light sources like in a studio. The fact is, the moon has an uneven, hilly surface combined with perspective, distortion. It's just you can say anything is distorted, You could just be
literally. Well, and also, if you look at the footage, photos are different and the photos are clearer.
Which also is suspicious to me.
Yeah, but the footage of the moon landing is just gray lines across the screen.
Yeah. Oh my god, and it is so easy
No, they're totally on the moon right now.
In the age of AI, to go to the moon at all is okay, we'll never be able to know.
Well, that's the whole thing.
With AI in general, is that my favorite AI theory is that more and more people were getting actual footage of things like dragons and unicorns, and so they had to invent something that would debunk those videos. And so AI has boomed.
But I think that that's a fair point.
Yeah. So I think we can all safely agree. The moon is either a concept, god, item, or item/physical entity, or the eyeball of a big lady looking down on us. Did we send any human person there? Probably not. I don't think so. No, but maybe. And I hope that's the takeaway.
Well, this has been an episode, certainly.
As are the rest of them, and as will the next one be as well. Don't forget to comment, and subscribe. Follow us on the Tron. Give us money. Give us your love. Give us a little kiss.
By the time this episode up, the Tron should fully have options and special things there.
Okay.
So if you want to give us a little money, I think we're very reasonably priced.
You'll let us know.
But for less than a cup of coffee a day, you can sponsor these two girdles. who are real doing good.
Who are real doing good, talking smart, and saying good things to the world.
Amen.
Okay.
Love you.
I love you. And I love the moon.
And
Whatever she
I
may
love
be.
the moon.
Queen.
And if you made it this far, you can find us everywhere at Speculating Wildly Pod, and all of our links are in the show description. Don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, and most importantly, recommend us to your weird uncle.